Hello, and welcome to the Become Your Best podcast and webinar series. I'm your host, Lauren Sweeney, and I'm also the vice president here at Rise Up For You. Today, we have a very interesting conversation that I think all entrepreneurs and leaders alike can relate to. Let's talk about how do we have peak productivity while still having clarity, energy, balance, or do we use energy, clarity, and balance to really give us what we're looking for because we are whole people? Our guest today, Cate Stillman, is going to bring the conversation that for many years, she's been an entrepreneur. She has a remote team and all the incredible work that she is doing. So before I read her bio and bring her on, let's begin our Become Your Best podcast. And you are in the right spot to rise up for you.
Everything you need is already inside of you. The world would not be what it is without you. When we begin to create change within us, we begin to create change in the world around us. Your journey to becoming your best self as the whole person starts right now.
Well, let's talk about Cate Stillman and all the amazing things that she has done. She's an entrepreneur, she's a teacher, an author, a thought leader in the Ayurvedic space, and she grew her business, Yogahealer.com, that we'll hear about today, to the top 2% of women-owned businesses by 2016, which is no easy feat. The company continues to grow each year, and right now, in real time, it's 2022. Her company's on track to do over 2 million with herself and her incredible team that she leads, as well as supporting and growing thought leaders, wellness pros, and entrepreneurs alike in leading their own journeys and company growth. Her books include Body Thrive, Master of You. Cate's a global community leader and a master coach in the field of Ayurvedic, peak performance, habit evolution, and Dharma. Her podcast, The Yogahealer Show, has over 3 million downloads and a newsletter that reaches over 40,000 people. That is no easy feat to not only build, but also sustain, Cate. She leads yogahealer.com with her remote team and has an avid recreational athlete. She loves to ski, mountain bike, whitewater paddleboard. I didn't even know that was a thing. And surf with her family. I just went to Maui with my family and we taught our 9-year-old to surf. We all got up on the board. Very proud of us.
Awesome.
And she's in the mountains of Wyoming, Utah, as well as they spend time in Punta Mita, Mexico. Well, Cate, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, Lauren.
So you built this very successful business. Let's start by talking about what it is that you have seen help thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and people alike in the work that you do. And then let's talk about you as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, core habits really is what I've always been about. So, over 20 years ago, I was in San Francisco teaching these little workshops on daily routines of a yogi. And fast forward some 20 years, like we're teaching these daily habits of circadian rhythm, which is the same thing. And what we keep finding is this: it's like people are having increasing issues with focus, really issues with distraction, issues with not being able to like sort of rise above the whirlwind and know what they really need personally themselves. And so they make sacrifices, and the sacrifices are usually to their body and to their mind, their mental health, and to their relationships. And a lot of that's just really honestly cured by having a better daily rhythm. It sounds simple. One more thing I'll just mention in this is it's like people know what to do, but what they don't often realize is that if you aren't in a group of people that's doing what you know to do, it's almost impossible for you to do it because usually you're with a group of people who's doing what you've been doing before.
Yes. So important. We talk a lot about that with leaders today, your personal counsel, kind of a board of directors to help you before you send that email that might be inappropriate. But the habits, it's not just a saying. You become like the 5 people you hang around. That's exactly what you're saying. The more that I am surrounded by people that give me energy or are eating the way that maybe blesses my body or moving our bodies in a way that feels incredible, Yeah. It's
Well, you could even look at it this way. Like you have the habits of the people you spend time with. And you also have the habits of the people. There's actually good research on this. You have the habits of the people that your people spend time with. So if like your people are spending time with people that gain weight, it's been proven that like you're more likely to gain weight.
yeah.
So same thing with whatever, sugar consumption, junk food, same thing with positive habits. Like if the people your people are spending time with are intermittent fasting, the likelihood of you intermittent fasting is going to increase.
Yeah. I
But
love
it
that.
also means, because for many people here, they're also parents or they're also in core relationships, partnerships, whether it's with relationships or with, in their personal life or their professional life. And to realize that, like, oh, when you put yourself in a group of people that's doing, say, the habit of intermittent fasting, which is very well researched in terms of cognitive ability, neuroplasticity, basically, can you learn and grow, right? Can you create new neural pathways? So you start doing that, you've actually just increased the likelihood of the people around you doing that as well.
Mm. Future generations, if you're a parent, like you said, or in a romantic relationship, your partner, and then your work partners, right? Your work
Yeah.
husbands and wives, as they say.
Your contractors and employees, like my
Yeah,
contractors are all doing intermittent fasting.
absolutely. I got mine hooked on Nespresso coffee.
Exactly.
Don't judge, Kate. It's so worth it. It's so worth it.
So habits are contagious, right? And if it's our habits that are really determining our focus and productivity and our experience of fulfillment in life, then that's who we should design for.
Absolutely. So let's talk about a few top habits or hacks. So one hack you just mentioned is the people you're around and that consciousness. What if somebody's listening and they're like, okay, Kate, I mean, I hear you, but the people I hang around have terrible habits. My habits don't serve me. I feel overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do I do? Do I just live in the desert for a few months? I mean, do I, what
No,
do I
you
do,
actually
Kate?
you get skin in the game. So you invest to be in a group of people that have the habits that you want to have next. And I can't understate this enough. Like it's not like we have such a DIY culture, as particularly the Americans here listening. We're very do it yourself. Like we're very much like, I should be able to figure this out. But those of you who've ever had like a really good business coach, or those of you who've ever been in a really good business program that's helped you like redefine your business model or hire better or create better systems and operations, who've invested in on that side, you know the value of actually being with people who already are there and are able to get you there faster. And I just can't understate this enough. I mean, it's just like, if you don't have the habits that you want, don't expect to get there on their own, because your people are going to pull you back. And that's why our entire methodology at Yogahealer and our courses are courses that don't have actually that much to do with yoga. It's more of Body Thrive. Like, how do you have the habits of circadian rhythm? When people get in there, when they get in the group, they're invested. It's $5,000 for the year. It has to be a year because so much stuff comes up in a year. By the end of the year, they've automated 80% of the habits of circadian rhythm, which is enough. 80% of the habits, 80% of the time is enough. And they keep them over time. They keep those habits over time. So now they have the habits of radiant longevity. Trying to figure it out on your own or trying to change the people around you, like you've probably already tried. You've probably already done that. And it's gotten you to whatever results you have today. And some of those might be like, okay, but they might not be really where you want to be.
I love what you said, that most of us know what to do. Sometimes we legitimately are stuck, right? But if we asked, 5 people, hey, what are 3 things you could do differently? It's not hard to come up with. I should move my body more, maybe drink more water. Let's do the top 5, right? Drink less alcohol, basic things. A lot of times we know what to do. That is not the issue. It's that gap.
It's not an information issue. You're absolutely right. It's not an information. It's actually not even an intuition issue. So it is a dynamics group issue. So if the habits that we have are the habits of the people that are around us, we have to get ourselves into a dynamic group. We have to be invested. We need skin in the game. That's also pretty much proven,
Yes.
right? It's like, we need skin in the game. Why? Because you're distracted. Everyone's distracted. We're in an age of distraction. Like, there's just so much cool opportunity and so much going on that's way easier than getting to your core issues.
Absolutely. I just turn on Netflix and it keeps going repeatedly. You don't
It
even have to
keeps going.
Oh, that's never a good sign when it comes. The little circle says, "Are you still there?" On
Yeah,
your fifth
totally.
episode.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's the sign of like you have a problem.
yeah. Absolutely. So let's pivot for a minute, Cate, and talk about building an incredibly successful business, because a lot of people may have the exact same thoughts as you. They may have more or less training than you. Again, the training, the credentials is not necessarily the issue. What do you think has made you for years be and stay a successful entrepreneur?
I mean, I think at the heart of it really is mission. Like, I've always been mission driven. I was born into an upper middle class family. My grandparents were all immigrants, so they came with nothing, literally. They came with debt, through Ellis Island not too long ago. And I just recognized that, like, damn, I've had it pretty good. And I've been super driven to, honestly, at the level of like personal and planetary thrive, so that people thrive in their bodies. We all thrive in our ecosystems, and we live in a planet of thrive. And this has been a lifelong mission for me. I mean, starting with about my teenage years. So I wanted to raise human consciousness. And I mean, and now what really gets me fired up is like, I think like many of the successful entrepreneurs listening, it's like, it's the success stories of your members where you're making a huge difference. And for instance, I did a pop-up event in Minneapolis 2 days ago, and I walk in the door and this woman looks at me and she looks starstruck, and she's just like, "Oh my gosh, it's Cate Stillman." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And I like, I like, yeah, we have 70,000 people on our email list, and I have a social media following and all that stuff, but like, really, like, no one's heard of me, So she's like, "You changed my life. I've lost 50 pounds in the last 2 years. Like, I'm just on track at work. My boss wants to invest in me. It's changed my relationship with my husband. It's changing the way I'm raising my kids. Like, I can't thank you enough." And I don't know about you guys, but like, it's kind of scary what's happening in the world and in the United States. In the United States, and I know this is not the same problem that's happening in Europe, but there's signs of it. And it's that right now, 50% of the American adult population will be obese by 2030. And obesity isn't necessarily a disease you die from. It's all of the comorbidities that accompany obesity. And our children are aging faster. Our species is degenerating. Chronic disease is more or less, there's a few problems. It's basically our food supply. It's the amount of chemicals that are in our ecosystems that are disrupting our metabolism and our ability to digest. And these are things that I'm just like, you know what? Like, we can change this, people. Like, we really can. And to me, that's what drives me to be successful. So I started measuring income and impact simultaneously. Of just like, impact has to be measured by my income, by the amount of dollars that this business is doing, because it's the dollars that this business is doing that's allowing us to reach more people and host a podcast. We actually host 2 podcasts, to be able to produce the amount of marketing content that we do. That's all free. That's all free education. So for me, it's that. I also am ambitious, like, just by nature. I've always been someone who wanted to play with A players. I've also, typical, those of you who know Ayurveda, I'm a typical like Pitta mental constitution. So I've always been attracted to that which is better, prestige, luxury, wealth. I've been attracted to that. So even though like I'm not big into like fancy jewelry and stuff, like I want to ride a top of the line mountain bike. I want to live in the most gorgeous places and enjoy my lifestyle. And so I really think for every entrepreneur or those of you who are working in teams, to define like, what does your success really look like, and to be just absolutely cutthroat about that. And then what kind of impact do you want to have with your life, and to let that really motivate your actions every day.
I love that you shared that you measure your impact based on your income. I think, especially in your line of work, there is, or the space you're in, there's
Yeah.
a lot of talk about, you just want to, if you're wealthy, like you're doing something wrong, or you're greedy, or you're ego-y, and there are ego-y people that are tyrannical all over, and some of them do have wealth, yes. And it's not a contradiction, the impact that you're having based on the more that you contribute and that people invest and that they grow, the more impact you have. And yes, it brings more wealth to the company, and you deserve that. Like, it's a whole full circle, not only the impact you're making and your company's making, but on people's lives and their abundance mentality.
Yeah, exactly. And money really, it buys freedom for the individual, but it also buys just a lot of cool opportunities for a company to be able to work their mission. So it's like, it is exactly what you said, Lauren. It's just like all good. It's just all good all around. And the other thing is, like, we're super low carbon footprint. We don't deal, I always say we peddle in wisdom, not in products. So I'm never going to sell you a supplement. I'm never going to sell you anything other than becoming just a much more intelligent human being with your holistic life goals.
I love that. If people want to find out about that and your free resources, as well as your paid year-long group, talk to us what they'll find on your website.
Oh my gosh. So yogahealer.com. And it's really not about yoga. We're actually adding a brand layer called clubthrive.global. And we're not there yet. We don't have the website up yet, but there's so much there. There's a really great free workshop section. So whether you're having issues with emotional eating, or whether you want to learn more about eating from your ecosystem, or how to optimize peak performance, there's free workshops on that site, and just go to the free workshop section. And there, people find these workshops super helpful. They're very, very, I tend to not hold back, and just give it all away for free. So you'll find those on like peak performance for your life, career, and body. But I also just want to point people, like, we have free one-on-one sessions called body goal sessions. And one of the things that we've really noticed over time is that people don't have a safe, or just like a deep listening environment to hear themselves think about, like, what are your body goals? And we want you to take your body goals really seriously, because that's what you're running your life on. So you can just go to yogahealer.com/body-goals. I promise this is not like a super slick sales session. If there is a way we can help you, we'll let you know. But the purpose of that session is to really help you understand what your own body goals are. Many people go from there into a really low dollar crash course called our Body Goals Crash Course, where we help you really figure out, like, where are the gaps and where are the gains, and what kind of investments are really going to help you get to where you want. This is something we take super seriously. Like, I had a woman in April come into one of our courses, and she was, on that sort of like diabetic obesity track. And she was able to, like, get off her meds in 3 months, like, get off her meds, drop a few sizes, but more than that, like, regain confidence, like, really regain her confidence that she's the one driving her life. And I just really want to be able to offer that to anyone who feels like there's stuff that's just not in alignment. It's like, hey, come talk to us. We're really good at helping you align your goals with your life and putting you back in the driver's seat, so that, think first we have to work on health with almost everybody. And, it's okay. That's not a problem. But because your energy and your focus is reliant on how your body's running on circadian rhythms. So that's where we'll always start. But then once that's dialed in, you'll have a surplus of energy. You'll have a surplus of neuroplasticity. You'll have better ideas from working with us. You'll have better relationships, you'll be in growth groups for people that are oriented towards growth. And then from there, it's like, yeah, what are your extremely unique holistic life goals? And then what's your strategic plan to get there? And to me, that's like the most fun. It's the most fun work.
I love that. I love the building blocks, and we so believe in the whole person as well, your health and your money and your relationships and your career. But it's not, we're so taught, especially in the United States and actually in Canada and Europe as well, that it's all about, like, your career and your work and your titles. And our founder wrote a book on rebuilding your confidence, essentially. And so I love that you mentioned that, because most professionals today lack self-confidence, something like high 80%. And so if we can feel that affects all the different areas, our health and our money and our work and our imposter syndrome. And do we speak up, and do we dream that we could build a successful company and then stick to it, and all of those things.
So do I have time to share another little thing?
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of just in line with that confidence thing. There's an article in Forbes. I was looking for data on if we're overweight, what happens to getting a promotion. And there was some really interesting research that was done with this. And so again, the obesity stats are really insane, but like what happens before obesity is weight creep. If a woman is 15 pounds overweight, they're sacrificing 9% of a salary increase.
Wow.
So when it comes to investing in health, like one of the things that my team takes super seriously is helping people understand how to reverse engineer their investments. Because if what's actually on the table is potential earnings, that's usually people's biggest lever. And we've seen it time and again, like someone feels super grounded in their power and their body and their habits and their lifestyle. They've turned their family around, so their family now has great habits. And then all of a sudden they go to their boss and they're like, this is how I could add more value to the company. This is how I'm already adding more value to the company. These are the other companies I'm entertaining, working with. Like, should we talk?
100%. Yes.
Right?
Yes, because you're a whole person. And absolutely, we feel that confidence in ourselves. So then we make different health choices or not, right? Like, and the other thing I love to remind people is it's like a circle. You don't arrive. You're not like, I got my master's in emotional intelligence, I'm done, right? It's a circle. Like, we're always evolving as people and then making better choices. And then it's just like, what's the next level? I love that you shared at the end. Okay, we've worked on health. We've worked on people around you. We've worked on thinking and reverse engineering. Now what? What do you want to create?
Yeah.
So great, Cate. Such a great conversation. We love to ask sort of a closing question, and that is, what does Rise Up for You mean to you?
Oh gosh, it was so interesting. I was talking with an integral coach the other day, and we were talking about the concept of like giving up. Like when you can and give up is such a negative connotation, but it's really like when you can give and it goes upward, like it actually up levels. So to me, rising up is so much of our potential. It's like, how do we live in alignment with what we as a unique individual are really clearly here to do in our lifetime? And to listen to that and look for integrity gaps where we're like, oh, this part of my life's out of integrity. Maybe it's my schedule. Maybe it's with my relationship with my parents or my kids or my boss or my partner. And it's like, and where can I actually rise up? Where can I like give in a way that it goes up level?
Yeah. I love that. Oh, well, Cate Stillman, so great to have you on the show today. Thank you for being you, for the great work you're doing for yourself first. And then because you literally rose up for yourself and implemented, you grew a team that's having an impact on people all over the planet.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. And I'm so glad about the work that you guys are doing at Rise Up for You.
Thank you so much. What an incredible conversation to be able to have today. I got so much from it, and I know that you did as well. And I want to let you know, if you're looking for resources, check out Cate's website. And as well, if you'd like some free videos and workbooks, you can go to riseupforyou.com/successkit and download 8 different videos and our workbook where we can help you with your confidence, your leadership, and your emotional intelligence. Until the next podcast, I am Lauren Sweeney, and I'm thinking about you as you rise up for you.